Waterway Recovery Group work on restoration projects all around the country, some large, some small, all of them ambitious. What marks out a great restoration scheme for us is a really good project plan. I'm here with Mick Bradley from the IWA. So Mick, what do we mean by a project plan?
Well, a good project plan is just a written record of what you've talked about. It tells you what you want to do, who you want to use to do it, how you're going to do it, and how to do it safely. It's all the things that you need to deliver the project, such as your method statement, risk assessment, materials and plant to carry out the work.
Okay, so what are the key benefits of a project plan?
Well, the key benefit of a project plan is to convince your stakeholders that you've got credibility. And the stakeholders include people like your volunteers, the funders, the local authority and insurers, anyone who has got an interest in your project.
All the people you're trying to impress and show you can deliver the project.
Exactly.
Any other benefits?
Well, the other benefit is that inevitably there's a change on site, and it allows you to deal with this change in a proficient manner.
Because we don't want to end up with costly and difficult mistakes.
Yes.
Excellent. So now let's look at some of the key parts of a project plan in detail.
Some projects have a structure that dictates the style and layout of a project plan, but sometimes a standalone plan is required. For consistency, it's best to nominate one person to oversee the writing of the project plan, like Alex, who we'll follow in this step-by-step guide. A good project plan should include 3 key elements: a site-specific plan, the task plans and method statements, and risk assessments. It's a working document for the site, full of useful information for everyone, from ordinary workers through to contractors and designers. It explains how the project should operate and contains all the essential information without being too wordy or full of jargon. The first step is to identify the scope of the project. Alex will include his project objectives, defining both the deliverables and milestones at the start of his plan. It's always necessary to do a site survey. Alex begins by detailing the physical aspects of the site, recording the information and taking photos. For more specialist aspects, such as environmental surveys or technical issues, he will pull in expert advice if he's not qualified or competent to do them himself. Back at base, Alex pulls together the site-specific plan, referencing the site location, on-site risks, external hazards, accidents and emergency procedures, vehicular access and traffic plans. For the next stage, Alex deconstructs the project objective into a series of key tasks along a timeline. He'll look at each standalone task, identify the techniques to be used, the materials and equipment required, and the people and skills needed to do each job. In his plan, Alex ensures it's clear how each task relates to others, so that all interactions and dependencies are obvious. He's also going to outline any work that's off limits or shouldn't be undertaken by enthusiastic volunteers. A good project plan should make it clear when work should be paused for reassessment or stopped completely. Now is the time to do any research about specialist suppliers or equipment. To help pick the right tools and techniques for the job, he looks at the Restoration Hub for useful information and sample documents. Alex organises design work and engineers reports before on-site work begins. The designs may be large or small, but either way, it's best to do these as part of the planning process, rather than when the project is underway, as it'll save time and frustration later. Alex gets all the necessary permissions for the work from the relevant stakeholders. These might include landowners, the Environment Agency, or the local authority. He keeps these permissions together with his research and external reports in the project plan, so others are clear why the project is planned in a certain way and there are no disputes on the day. When Alex has researched and completed his assessments for each of the tasks, he returns to each one and adds in additional details to his plan. He identifies the risks, outlines his method statement, and writes up what PPE and inductions volunteers will need. As it's always best to plan for the worst, Alex concludes his project plan with an emergency plan and emergency contact details. Once everything is complete, Alex reviews the project as a whole and asks a colleague to cast fresh eyes upon it. It's important to get others involved, and consulting with them will only strengthen the plan. When he's satisfied with it, Alex gets approval from his site director, but might equally ask the restoration director or the board of trustees. Alex isn't concerned if people challenge his plan. Restoration is full of change. Other people have some great ideas, and if they've invested in the project, they'll be more committed to it. A good project plan will cover all the tasks ahead, even if some elements are unknown until you get on site. So indicate who is authorised to change or update it. Being well prepared will leave you with time to deal with unexpected events that are likely to crop up during the project. Keep the plan on site, use it as a guide, and keep updating and reviewing it until the project is complete. It's worth putting time and effort into your plan so that, like Alex, you can embark on your restoration project with confidence.
So that's the theory of project planning, but what about the practicalities of writing your project plan? We asked our volunteers what concerns them about it, and then we asked some experts for some advice.
It's just a small project. Surely it doesn't need a big plan?
So it doesn't matter how big or small your project is, the principle of project planning is going to be the same throughout. If you enter into what you think is a small project quite casually without doing a project plan, the chances of you making a mess of things later down the line are going to be increased. The other point about writing a project plan for even a small project is that it really brings the energy and focus of the team onto the project. If you change the way the project works later down the line, you've gone through that process and you've thought about it, and you can make those changes much easier.
There are still too many unknowns with my project. Surely there's no point in starting to write the project plan yet.
It's all going to change anyway, so what's the point?
So there's never an excuse for not doing a proper project plan. All that will happen if you don't plan properly is you'll get onto site, things won't turn up in time, volunteers will get frustrated, and you'll end up with an inefficient job that won't get done in the right time.
Some people, though, feel nervous about starting a plan.
What if someone challenges my project plan and I have got something wrong?
If someone challenges an aspect of your project plan, try not to be offended. It's a good sign that they're engaging with the plan, and use it as an opportunity to refine it and make it better.
You might find that you need to convince other members of the team of the benefits of your project plan.
Is it really worth doing? No one will ever read it.
Typical reasons why volunteers might pick up the project plan is to find out the mix of mortar we're using, or the depth of stone in the towpath, or the sequence of work, or just because they're interested in the project itself. It's the best single source of practical information.
I haven't got time to do a project plan, I just want to get on and do the job.
Volunteers can just get to work as long as they've been properly briefed on what's been written in the project plan. I use the project plan as a memory aid when delivering site inductions. Everything that's written in there, the volunteers need to know about, such as welfare provisions, additional PPE, or any environmental constraints. It helps the teams work under their own steam, but still be consistent with the wider project plan.
I've got a lot of volunteers who just want to work. They're not interested in project planning. How can I convince them to use it?
As your project progresses, details in the plan might change, but by working through the project plan step by step, you're less likely to overlook factors which might become a problem later, and you can ask the right questions. Then, each revision will become more useful.
What's out there to help me write a project plan?
The Restoration Hub is an invaluable resource with lots of information to help you write and develop your project plan.
I hope we've convinced you about the benefits of a good project plan and addressed any concerns you might have writing one. If you've any further questions, please contact the Restoration Hub, and good luck with writing your plan.